Biden administration sued over humanitarian parole program. Several states are suing the federal government over the implementation of the humanitarian parole for Cubans, Venezuelans, Nicaraguans, and Haitians. By Harold Santana with information from EFE. Published on January 24, 2023. Updated at 11:31 a.m. on January 25, 2023. https://www.telemundo51.com. The Attorneys General of 20 U.S. states, including Florida and Texas, filed a lawsuit Tuesday against President Joe Biden's administration's program to grant 30,000 humanitarian visas to migrants from Cuba, Venezuela, Nicaragua, and Haiti. The states suing were Texas, Florida, Alabama, Alaska, Arkansas, Idaho, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, Ohio, South Carolina, Tennessee, Utah, West Virginia, and Wyoming. The lawsuit seeks to have a federal judge block the humanitarian parole program for citizens of Cuba, Haiti, Venezuela, and Nicaragua with a sponsor, implemented in an effort to stem the border crisis. Why did they file the lawsuit? In their complaint, led by Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, the plaintiffs argue that this plan will allow the arrival of hundreds of thousands of migrants to areas of the United States that are already overburdened. And they stressed that with this initiative the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, is abusing its authority to grant humanitarian permits. In the opinion of the plaintiffs, the federal government's plan should be declared illegal because the defendants have exceeded their authority to grant this type of visa, and, in addition, have not taken into account whether there is the ability to expel the beneficiaries of the program once the 2-year permit to stay in the United States is exhausted. The lawsuit is directed against DHS and its head, Alejandro Mayorkas, as well as the federal agencies in charge of border security and regulating the flow of immigration and those responsible for it. Defendants include top officials from the Department of Homeland Security, Citizenship and Immigration Services, the Border Patrol and IC Immigration Enforcement. We clearly expected a lawsuit, but it's ironic because the complaint is that the border is out of control, and this is a good program. You could solve the crisis at the border in a more effective way, says Attorney Joseph A. Malouf. Conservative groups want to make a limitation of this parole program, which should be exceptional in nature and case by case, and which should have been transparent through a process of analysis and discussion before being implemented, says Attorney Santiago Alpizar. And now the judge has to, essentially, study the case, find whether or not there are humanitarian reasons, which there are in this case. We know that is the main reason. And also whether this is something for the public benefit. And I think it is, too, compared to bringing people in illegally at the border, Malouf says. The lawsuit argues that Florida would suffer billions of dollars in damages from the program, as well as significant state memories, such as public education and health care. But lawyers insist there's the sponsor's financial role. The public charge is going to be eliminated, and that benefits the country. It also benefits having the workforce, the workers that are now needed, Malouf says. But Florida's Attorney General says the humanitarian parole program is a direct violation of federal law and has said the president's executive actions have been excessive. From day one we saw a series of executive orders and rollbacks of programs that were in place to secure the border, Moody says. Now, legal experts recommend patience and vigilance. Continue, without pause, but also without haste, the ways to make applications through this program, which are relatively straightforward, Alpizar says.